All right, welcome everybody to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Please silence all cell phones and note that this meeting is being taped by FCTV. If there's any private party recording this hearing, step up to the podium to request permission. I'll introduce the board and staff. On my far right is Mark Finneran. To his left is Scott Peterson. To my close right is Frank Duffy, the clerk. My name is Suzanne Murphy, chair. To my left is James Morse, vice chair. And then we have Tony Bertucci, an associate, Nick Heaney, an associate. Then we have Noreen Stockman, the zoning administrator, and Ashley DeMello, office assistant. The Zoning Board of Appeals is charged with applying the state zoning statutes as well as the town zoning bylaws and reviewing and voting on applications. All decisions are made through the public hearing process. Our goal is to hear testimony from the applicants and the public and to allow a full and fair discussion of the project prior to closing the hearing process and reaching a decision. Number one, to begin each hearing, the clerk will read the public announcement for the hearing and read pertinent information from the file. Two, the applicant or the applicant's representative will then have 15 minutes to make a presentation, but time may be extended by a vote of the board. Three, the board will then question the applicant. Four, the public will then be invited to comment. Comments should be limited to 2 minutes and be strictly related to the proposal. All members of the public wishing to speak should wait to be recognized by the chair and should come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and speak into the mic. It will not amplify your voice and record audio for FCTV viewers. And then, but right before we start the first hearing, if anyone wants to make a public comment on anything that's not on our agenda tonight, you're welcome to come up to the podium. Anybody want to come up? Last call. All right, we'll start. First hearing is 07225 Cape Cod Aggregates.
Madam Chair, going to have to recuse myself from this application.
All righty. Tony, you're in that? Okay.
Okay, this is application number 72 of the year 2025, Cape Cod Aggregates Corp. They've applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to section 240-14.5B through 240-14.5G and 240-12.1B of the Code of Falmouth, which is the zoning bylaw, to continue the earth-moving operation and reclamation of land on properties located at Dimmock Avenue and Draper Road in East Falmouth, Massachusetts. Now, there's not too many pertinent facts to report to you, but the zoning district is AGAA. The overlay district is the West Falmouth Harbor Coastal Pond Overlay District, and we also have a wildlife corridor that's in effect here. There's 12 previous Zoning Board of Appeals decisions relative to this property. The most recent is 72 of the year 2022, and there are 11 others going back all the way to 1989. The property is 60.11 acres, and it's way over the minimum in the zoning district. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bill Cawley of Cawley Site Services. I'm representing Sam and Paul LaRussa, owners of Cape Cod Aggregates. The LaRussa brothers are requesting an extension for special permit number 07622 to continue the earth moving and reclamation of land located off Blacksmith Shop Road. The permit was first granted in 1989 and has since been reviewed every 3 years as required and been approved. The lot, which is a combination of 4 parcels consisting a total of 60 acres, which 27 acres have been set aside as a buffer for white-tailed deer and adjacent properties. It is bordered on the west, northwest, and southwest by the town of Falmouth, on the north by windmill and commercial properties. On the east is Cape Cod Aggregates, Lawrence Lynch, in the town of Falmouth. And on the south, 2 residential properties, Cape Cod Aggregates in the town of Falmouth. As required, along with Richard Hood, professional land surveyor, and John Kelly, professional engineer, I prepared an existing conditions plan dated 9/30/25 that depicts reclaimed areas, actively worked area, and buffer zones. As required, we have calculated the volume removed since John Doyle's plan dated July 30th, 2022 to June 18th, 2025. The estimated volume removed was 1,087,487 cubic yards, well below the 750,000 cubic yards that are allowed in a 3-year period. Second, they maintained the haul road to the processing plant by frequently spraying the water to control dust for personal safety and air quality. The haul road is exclusively used, so no public way is. Third, they have reclaimed the previous areas worked with a topsoil mix and seed. Also, they have not disturbed the buffer zone in any way. The LaRussa brothers have followed the guidelines that were required and request a 3-year continuance. If there are any questions or comments?
Anybody?
No, as far as I'm concerned, they've been doing this forever, and I don't think there's ever been any negatives. They reclaim what they harvest, and this is as close to a rubber stamp as anything that would look at, as far as I'm concerned.
Frank, you have any questions?
Yes. One of the requirements of the zoning bylaw is that you post security for the reclamation, and I believe it's $75,000, and I have no idea if that's adequate. That was posted years and years ago, and I think it's been just carried forward. How do we know that's enough security?
It has been, go ahead, Sam.
No, yeah.
Hi, Sam Russo. I actually just recently dropped off, probably like a month and a half ago, with one of the offices here, and they didn't even know where to put it, the bond, but we did have a bond. They have it, and I didn't have an answer for them as to where they were supposed to put it, so. But I can get another copy and give it to the board.
I don't think there's a question that there is security posted. That's a condition of your previous permit. And I think I assumed that there's security, but the amount was $75,000, and I'm asking, who determines if that's adequate? I mean, you've got a 60-acre parcel out here, and I don't know how far $75,000 will go on reclamation. I have no idea.
So the only answer I have for that would be, right now we're doing, well, the cost of reclaiming the land.
Well, this is for the town to do it if you walk away.
Right. And I totally get that, because we're dealing with, we just recently purchased the Blacksmith Shop Farms, and it's the same type of thing, and we're in this big discussion with the DEP on this same exact thing. And the way that the DEP does it is, and it's weird, but you do it once, you set the thing, and no matter what changes, the DEP never requires you to change it again, which I agree with you, it is weird that it's not every so often.
We only give you a 3-year permit. It has to be renewed every 3rd year. So I think anything that's out there we can look at.
Oh, yeah.
And bring it up to date. That's my
Absolutely.
concern is.
Yep. Yeah, we'd be totally open to it. And if you look at what we're doing, the reclamation is always ongoing. So the part that would have to be reclaimed if something, like God forbid, we disappeared for whatever reason, would just be the one face. And
You do all that reclamation
yeah, we do it
in-house,
all.
right?
Yep. And now it's even better because we do have the stump dump. So
Yeah.
we're creating
Here.
really good material now.
You can transfer over.
Yeah, it's been awesome, so. But yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. So I don't have an answer, though.
If you were to leave, you say you're working on one bank, say you were to all up and leave, $75,000 would be sufficient to bring in
Yeah.
an outside contractor to just
Yep, because what you do.
topsoil and seed it or whatever you do.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a bulldozer, and you'd push it down to a 3-to-1 slope as required. And then,
Plant
in the past,
Timothy
we
or
even
whatever.
used the town leaf dump. They have excess leaves, and that's been really good, too. We just spread those along it at one point, and that grew amazingly. But, yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. It doesn't get rechecked.
Well, I'm not opposed to extending this permit. Please don't think that I am, but I'm inclined to ask the board to put a condition in the permit that the next time you come back, you bring some,
Money for us?
no, yeah, but some document worked up by an engineer or somebody explaining how much this costs and do we have adequate security. Right now, we have absolutely no assurance that it's adequate.
Yep, no, yeah, it's fine. We would have no problem with that. We would probably do it the same exact way we're doing it for the DEP with the stump dump, same exact deal. But yeah, we
Present something to DEP?
yeah, we had to send, we had to send them what we assumed it would cost to reclaim the whole piece.
Well, that might be the data you're looking for right there, Frank.
Yeah, and it's backed up by, not
on file
extensive engineering, but it is backed up by
Get his hands on
engineering.
it.
That's a different property,
It's
different situation.
Different situation, and also he said they never check it either, so.
Reclaiming what they're doing is much easier, I would suggest.
Yeah, the stump dump is a lot more.
Yeah,
So
difficult.
think of your
Yeah.
condition and we can do that, right? You have a
Yeah.
question?
I do. Since I think the third time Cape Cod Aggregates has been back before me, or excuse me, for the board when I've been on it. In the past, I know there was an abutter who was concerned that the excavation was getting a little close. Has there been any further excavation towards this particular
No,
person's
and
house?
we've actually reclaimed and replanted, and it's all growing in front of her now. And I want to say this is the first year that I don't think she has complained at all.
It's why I asked the question. When I was
Yeah.
going through the files, I didn't see I don't know if she's in the audience tonight or as a comment, but I didn't see a written letter. It's not so
We've
much
had a-
opposition, it's just a letter of
So
concern.
we've had a very open dialogue with her. Anything that we're doing there, we let her know before, and it's been really good, so.
You have a required buffer anyway.
Yeah, the buffer's pretty big.
Pretty big.
Yeah, I forget what it is. 200 feet, yep.
First time I remember that we weren't invited for a site walk. I just personally, the first time I had this case, being able to walk and see exactly what you're
Yeah.
doing in terms of the trees and other things, it was very helpful, but.
Yep, and if you guys want to do a site walk, absolutely. It's just MSHA. We have mine safety rules, so you can't just go out there, but yeah, anytime.
Perhaps 3 years from now, who knows?
Yeah, well, you heard the yardage that we took out was like 1,000 or something. How many yards did we take out in 3 years?
100,000.
3 years, 187,000 cubic.
So it won't look much different.
I have no other
It's crazy
questions. Thank you,
as
Madam
that
Chairman.
Anybody else? Tony?
I just want to try to understand something. You may have said this, I didn't hear it maybe. Who certifies the reclamation work that you do? Is it DEP or the town?
So initially, that was like 1989.
Nine.
I don't even know who came up with that number, but the way it's done, I mean, probably what we should do is get engineered plans for a reclamation, and then we would, and it's the same thing I'm doing for the other place, but we had a contractor that does that work give us a price on, an official price to do that, and that would be,
I mean, it sounds like you reclaim the land how you want to reclaim the land, and then no one certifies anything that has been done.
right.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, but on our end, at some point, we're going to want to utilize that land for the next best use, and it's definitely in our best interest to keep that land as.
But you're dumping stumps that rot away.
Oh, no, this is a gravel pit. The stump thing, that's a whole.
Different property.
Yeah, it's a whole different
Okay.
business, everything, yeah.
All right, so you do what you do to reclaim the land, as opposed to no one certifying it either from the town or some other authority with regard to land. I mean, I have no complaints. I'm just asking this question. It makes sense that if you've got a $75,000 bond, or maybe someday greater than that, and the town would then be responsible for doing the reclamation for whatever unfortunate reasons, that somebody should be certifying that the work done over here in the back or wherever it is. Now I'm all thrown off, but anyway.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And that coming forward, otherwise it's just green pastures, and maybe it's, I don't know if it's a big deal or not. I just wanted to ask the question.
Yeah, and there's rules. We have to have a 3-to-1 slope, and it has to be revegetated as we go, so we have to stick to that, but,
This plan that is dated September 30th, 25, has got contours on, so I guess it's all here?
Yeah, and the stuff that isn't 3-to-1, that's the actively being mined area.
Would you say it's a fair statement to say that essentially, when you're done reclaiming it, it looks better than when you started?
Yeah, you'd be shocked if you went there and if you could see a before picture and the after where we've already reseeded and put the
Saw it
3-to-1
last
slope
time.
in, it's remarkable. There's, sounds ridiculous, but there's deer. I've seen a peregrine falcon in that area now, probably daily, the past like 3 months. Yeah, it's.
But who's certifying that there's no dumping going on? Or
Me. Because
I would
that's
certainly
expensive.
hope so, because it's going
Yeah.
to reduce the value of the,
Yeah, no, we've been fortunate. We have gates, we have everything, and, you know, there have been instances where people have dumped stuff, and it's so expensive, so we are very,
are there groundwater monitoring wells, or is any water issues
not
involved?
on that side, but on the other side, where we do that stump dump, we have groundwater monitoring.
And who's monitoring?
God, I can't remember the name of the company, but we have to send everything to the DEP.
All right, so you have a professional company monitoring that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Just curious.
Yep, and that's a weird one too, because it's on the other, this side, the way the water goes, I guess, is what I'm told. We're down water from the dump, so it's a weird test.
Have you ever had to report anything, we'll say nefarious, to the police at any time for these years? Any illegal dumping, things that you cleaned up later on, or you might not
No.
want to report it, I don't know.
Four-wheelers,
Yeah,
Dirt bikes.
we have the place pretty
dirt bikes,
pretty tight,
four-wheelers.
but that back, so that's the one issue we have up there is they just constantly make new trails in every time we block one. But I'm getting dehydrated. But I have a new method of reseeding the slope, and we're using, I call it loom tailings. So there's a few big logs in there. They are not touching the slope anymore. So
Yeah, I bet.
hopefully that continues to keep them out of there. But
Thank you very much.
thank you. Anyone?
Nick, do you have any
Sorry.
questions? No. You're all set?
We have had the conservation agent go out in the past. That particular agent just retired. But that being said, I suppose, you know, for the next 3-year period of time, they could provide something in writing certifying that they reclaimed the particular area.
Yeah.
Is there anything anyone wants from him in writing? Any documents that he might have for anything?
I think they've shown a pretty good record that they know what they're doing.
We have, I think what we can do is, I'm going to propose, that this is granted a condition, that the next time around, they submit written documentation certified by an engineer that they have reclaimed all the land that they've mined under the previous permit, and also the amount of the bond being satisfactory. And then we'll have a record, which we don't have.
And being done as required?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We saw it last time we walked it.
Anybody have any further questions? Anybody from the public? Come on up, sir.
I'm going to sit there. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Hi, my name's Dan Webb. I represent 2 abutters to this site, the Float Realty Trust and Neptune Properties. Both of those properties are in the Falmouth Technology Park on this sort of northwest side of the Cape Cod Aggregates pit. I'm just here to voice support for their application. They've always been a good neighbor. We've never had any problem with their operations. Float Realty Trust has been there since 1992. So I just came to voice support for their application.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public? I think we can probably close, right?
Motion to close, Madam
Second.
Chair.
We have a motion to close in a second. Any further information? Anybody?
It's closing testimony, right?
We're closing testimony.
Not the hearing.
Right.
Yes. Gotta remember this now. So we're closing testimony. Everyone's all set?
Yeah.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none. Now we need a motion.
Motion to approve with the Frank's amendment? Would that be proper?
Does that sound
Well,
okay?
we're going to discuss it, and then,
Any discussion?
Or a motion to approve with conditions.
Right.
Conditions, yeah.
so I would move that we approve the application for another 3 years with the condition, or one of two conditions, that when it comes up for renewal at the third year anniversary, there be written submission by a certified engineer or professional engineer to 2 points. One, that they have satisfactorily completed all the reclamation as required by section 240-14.5D of the zoning bylaw, and that they have a written estimate that sets the 115% cost of reclamation for the security bond as required by section 240-14.F of the zoning bylaw.
Okay. So we had a motion, did we have a second?
I'll second.
Didn't you make the motion?
I didn't make the motion.
Oh,
I
okay.
suggested
So we
it.
have a motion and a second, and we have Frank's condition. Are you all set with that?
I think it was Mark's motion.
Mark's motion, okay. So we have a motion and a
Very well
second.
worded, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Any other discussion? Anybody? We're all set? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. We're all set, thank you.
So, one finding.
Findings.
Yeah, we're not done yet.
So we have our earth-moving regulation. A special permit is required under section 240-14.5B of the zoning bylaw, which limits earth-moving to a 3-year period. So we're approving this condition, this permit for a 3-year period. And this applies to any parcel more than 5 acres. This is a 61-acre parcel, so it's more than 5 acres. There is evidence of satisfactory completion of the reclamation of previously permitted areas. The special permit must have a reference to all of the regulations in section 240-14.5E of the zoning bylaw, and it will be so incorporated into the special permit. We find that there is no evidence of a nuisance or danger to public health, that there's been no work within 100 feet of a public or private way, that there's a vegetative visual barrier from any public street, and that there's been no work in a water resource protection district. As far as the special permit is concerned, we find that the site is adequate for the proposed use, it is suitable for the proposed use. There's no negative impact on traffic flow and safety. In fact, most of the traffic stays on site. There's no evidence of a a detriment to the visual character of the neighborhood, views or vistas. There's adequate sewage disposal. In fact, it's not required. There's adequate utilities, and there's no impact on affordable housing.
May I add a few? Sure. Testimony from the applicant and questions concerning a historical, and a abutter with historical concerns was addressed. No opposition offered at the hearing. One abutter spoke in support.
There's no letters in the file either.
Thank you.
So we have findings, and we have Frank's condition already. So I think we're all set, right? And you voted. So we're good?
Yeah.
All right, great. You're all set. Thank you. All right, next hearing is 07325 Lewandowski at 123 Birch Lane, North Falmouth.
Okay, this is application 73 of the year 2025. Michael S. and Denise C. Lewandowski. They've applied to the Falmouth Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to section 240-10.2A and 240-11.3A4 of the Code of Falmouth, which is the zoning bylaw, to raise the existing garage and rebuild a garage with habitable space above, increasing lot coverage by structure. So, we have a RB zoning district. We're in the Wild Harbor Coastal Pond Overlay District. We're also in a nitrogen-sensitive area. The existing structure is 3,301 square feet. It's a 3-bedroom. The proposed structure will be 3,613 square feet. It will be a 3-bedroom. The frontage, the lot is 15,600 square feet in a zoning district which requires 40,000. The street frontage is 130 feet in the zoning district, which requires 100. This Birch Lane is a private way at this location. The house, the structure is currently non-conforming as to lot coverage by structure. The maximum is 20, this is 21.2%. That triggers the requirement for the special permit. The proposal is to increase it to 23.2%. We're allowed to grant a special permit up to 25%. The average in the neighborhood is calculated at 17.5%. Lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving is currently 32.3%. Will be increased to 34.3%, which is within the 40% limit of the zoning bylaw. The structure on the property currently conforms to the zoning bylaw in terms of dimensions. The proposed structure will be 20.5 feet high. We have referrals from engineering that we put a condition on the special permit that stormwater be contained and their erosion and sediment control practices be employed during construction. The Board of Health has advised us that the TV room qualifies as a fourth bedroom, but we also have some information that that has been changed, so it's now okay. The septic system will be upgraded to nitrogen removal. The Conservation Commission has determined a negative request for determination of applicability. The Water Department recommends an upgrade to 1-inch PE service. The Building Commissioner notes that the project must comply with FEMA regulations, and with respect to letters on file, none are noted.
Thank you. I don't know if I can really follow that up with much more.
He kind of did the job for you, huh?
I don't know if there's anything you want me to address before we get started, or if I could just jump into it.
I think you can just take it away.
My name's Jonathan Poloni. I'm an attorney with Senni & Associates out of Brewster. I'm here representing the homeowners Michael and Denise Lewandowski, who own this property at 123 Birch Lane in North Falmouth, shown here on the site plan. We're here under Chapter 240-11.3A, seeking approval to demolish and rebuild the existing garage. The goal is to enlarge the garage, making it sized for 2 cars, and to create a single room above the garage. As shown on this plan, this lot's identified as Lot 96. It is located in the RB district. As Frank mentioned, it is compliant dimensionally, complies with all setbacks, and complies with frontage. The nonconformity is with the lot size. It's undersized at 15,600 square feet. The lot is currently improved with a house and garage. The garage is attached through a breezeway, which I will bring up the architecturals, and I'm going to show you the detail with the breezeway and how it connects to the house. And then there's a deck, excuse me, a deck in the rear of the house. With all of these structures, the lot coverage currently exceeds 20% at 21.2%. The proposed changes are limited to the garage. The addition of area onto the garage will increase lot coverage to 23.2%, which is well below the 25% maximum allowed by special permit. We submit that this project is a minor expansion and is appropriate under the bylaw. We're simply expanding the garage to accommodate a vehicle and creating additional room for the family to operate and use around the property. The existing house is 1 story, which you'll see here. This shows the existing house. Which is 1 story, stands at 17 feet 5 inches, and being single story, there's not much to add on to in that within the existing structure. So given the renovations that are being proposed to the garage, the intent is to add that space on top of the garage. This shows the existing breezeway here with the doorways, the kind of the layout for the inside of the room. Here is the garage, the TV room. And as the health department noted, as shown on these plans, and these were the original plans that were submitted, so there were not new plans submitted. There was just a mock-up for the health department to point out the details on this plan, shows that the casing is being removed on this doorway, so there will be an open passage all the way into the upstairs and no privacy for that room to be segregated from the rest of the house. And as was stated before, the increase in the elevation, or the increase in the height of the structure by adding this to the garage is going to increase the height from 17, which is the height, the ridge height of the existing house. Just for the garage will go up to 20 feet 5 inches. In terms of impacts, there are no impacts really to the surrounding properties as a result of this project. The garage is situated on the west side of the property, so any shadows are going to be reflected back onto the house itself and towards the rear of the property. With the addition, there is still 20.4 feet from the side setback, and it's going to be roughly 35 feet from the house on that side. At the rear, there's 45.5 feet to the property line, and abutting that is an open park area, part of the original subdivision when it was created. To the east, is the existing house, and the south is Birch Lane. So in terms of shadow effects, there aren't really going to be anything coming out of increasing the height of the garage. As was noted in the bulk calculations, the increase in size over 20% is in keeping with other properties in this neighborhood. It doesn't stand out. There's no change to habitable space, so there's no impact to coastal waters. And based on all of those, I think with the conditions that have been pointed out by the departments, we think this meets the requirements, and we're asking for you to grant the special permit. Happy to take any questions.
We'll start down this side.
No, I know the house very well. I think it's a great addition to the neighborhood. The neighborhood's going that direction. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner in there, but yeah, no, I think it'll be good. Small little garage.
I have no questions. I think it's a great project.
Here, D-Night, AI something is going in? That's something?
I don't think there's nothing proposed for changing the septic system at now because there's no changes to the bedroom count. But if there were a change in the future and they wanted to add the bedroom, then I think it would include a denitrification system.
No other questions? I think it's an appropriate project.
Yeah, it wasn't very clear on the Board of Health's referral. At 1 minute, he did say IA, then he said 3 bedrooms.
Because the original one was 4 bedrooms.
Right. You said the height is 20 feet?
5 inches.
5 inches, right, that's what I...
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had.
I think I said 20 feet, 20.5, which would be 20 and a half, but that's correctable. All right.
I'm all set. You have any questions?
No, I'm all set. Very good presentation. Thank you.
No further questions, thank you.
Thanks.
Nothing here either, but pretty modest, well, within the parameters.
Anybody from the public want to comment on this project? We're all set, I guess.
Motion to close.
Testimony.
Testimony, right.
Second.
We have a motion to close testimony and a second. Any further? Everybody's all set? You're all set? All those in favor of closing testimony? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none.
Motion to approve with conditions?
Motion and a second. Go ahead, Frank. Findings.
All right, so we have a non-conforming structure in that the lot coverage by structure is 21.2%. It will be increased to 23.2%, 25 by special permit. There was no letters in support or opposition noted in the file, no public comment. There will be no new nonconformities as a result of this project. The Section 240.10.2A applies to single-family structures and accessory structures that are non-conforming, as is this, provided that the proposal shall not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure, and we so find. This is in an RB district, so the lot coverage by structure may be increased to a maximum of 25% allowed by special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals, taking into consideration, and we so find that the size and height of the proposed structure is in keeping with the relative size and height of existing structures in the neighborhood. There's no evidence of adverse effect of shadow on adjacent properties. There's no evidence of negative impact on views and vistas, public ways, and there's no evidence of nitrogen impact on coastal embayments as reported by the Board of Health. Under section 12.1E, special permits, we find that the site is adequate for the proposed use. It is suitable for the proposed use. There's no negative impact on traffic flow and safety. There's no negative impact on neighborhood views and vistas or neighborhood visual character. There's adequate sewage disposal proposed. There's adequate utilities, and there's no negative effect on the supply of affordable housing.
Any further findings? You all set? Any other findings, anybody? Conditions, do we put the must comply with FEMA in conditions, do you think?
Well, that'll have to be taken care of at the building permit stage, I think, but.
I think we should just throw it
Put
in
it
there.
in.
Yeah, just because it was on.
Right.
Was it engineering's?
That was the
No, it was
building
building.
department.
Building's referral. Do you think that's okay, Noreen, to put must comply with, yeah, okay. Any other
Well,
conditions?
I had a note that we got a room, which is a family room. It's in a separate section of the house. Probably should be a note in the file or in the condition that it's not a bedroom or a separate residential unit.
You get that, Noreen? Okay. Any other conditions?
Although that
Per
would-
plans, per all, no additional structures? Per plans, all boards. We didn't ask about lighting.
Standard hours of work.
Yeah, hours of op. This sheet here somewhere, I should be taking it out. I think that's it for this, it's pretty simple, yeah. All right, so I think we're good to vote on that, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion? Yeah, we did.
We
We're all
did.
set? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none.
Thank you very much.
Good, thanks. Good project, I like that.
Madam Chair, point of interest, I'm pretty much air fried here.
Shut the heat off, I think it's already.
Just did, I turned it down.
You turned it down?
Turned
Hey, it went
down, but
up.
it won't shut off.
Trying to sweat me out of here.
There we go.
Thank you.
Save the day again, Noreen.
Yeah, 10 minutes, it's gonna be freezing.
We'll take the breather, right? All right, next at bat, we have 07425, 16 Hudson Street.
This is application 74 of the year 2025. Matthew S. and Jackie D. Adams have applied to the Falmouth Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to sections 240.10.2A and 240.11.3A4 of the Code of Falmouth, which is the zoning bylaw, to construct a detached pool house with habitable space and an in-ground pool, increasing lot coverage by structure. The property is in an RC zoning district. It is in a nitrogen-sensitive area, but no overlay districts. The existing structure is a single-family house, 3 bedrooms at 2,047 square feet. The proposal is for a single-family dwelling, 4 bedrooms at 2,944 square feet. The lot is 12,080 square feet in the zoning district, currently requiring 40,000. The frontage on the street is 90 feet in zoning district, currently requiring 100. Hudson Street is a public right-of-way at this location. The lot coverage by structure is currently 16.95%. The proposal is to increase it to 24.4%, which is within the 25% that we can approve by special permit. The average in the neighborhood is 16.1%. The lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving is 26.2%, will be increased to 36.2% within the 40% limit of the zoning bylaw. The structure is non-conforming in that the southerly setback is only 4 feet. The proposed height of the pool house, which is an accessory structure, is proposed to be 21.9 feet within the 22 feet allowed by the zoning bylaw. The engineering department has advised us that a driveway permit may be required. It doesn't say it is, but you'll have to figure that out. And also that stormwater be contained on the property and erosion and sediment controls be implemented during construction. They also note that the fence on the property may be within the right-of-way of the street, and that's a problem for the homeowner to address. The property's on the sewer. The water department has advised us that the detached pool house needs an independent water service. There are no letters in opposition or in support noted in the file. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, Kevin Clower. I'm an attorney here in Falmouth, and I'm before you this evening representing Matt and Jackie Adams, the owners of 16 Hudson Street. I'm joined tonight by Ken Koska, who is the builder on this project. The Adams are seeking permission to construct a pool and pool house, which will result in lot coverage by structure in excess of 20%. 16 Hudson is located in the northern portion of Falmouth Heights, which, as you know, is a dense residential neighborhood. This particular lot is 12,080 square feet. It is in the RC zoning district, and it is not located in a flood zone. Presently, there's a 3-bedroom, single-family dwelling with a detached shed. The combined footprint is 2,047 square feet. As it exists presently, there is only one existing nonconformity, which is the side yard setback to the south, being 5 feet where 10 is required. It's otherwise conforming to front yard, side yard setback to the north, and rear yard setback, as well as lot coverage requirements. The existing ridge height of the house is approximately 18 feet. The applicants purchased this property just over a year ago, and have used the last year to assess the property and what they'd like to do with it. And what they're proposing is actually no changes to the primary dwelling, but the addition of a pool and a detached pool house, which will have some habitable space on the second floor. This proposal does not affect the existing non-conforming setback. The bedroom count will increase to 4. The habitable space in the pool house will meet the definition of a bedroom as set forth in Title V, though it's not intended as such. However, this project is on the Little Pond Sewer District, which allows for 4 bedrooms by right. The proposed ridge height of the detached pool house is 21 feet 9 inches, and the existing shed is going to be removed. The lot coverage by structure, including the pool and the pool house, will increase to 24.4%. Due to the existing non-conforming setback, this requires a special permit under 240-10.2A for alteration to a non-conforming structure, even though we're not actually altering the non-conforming structure, as well as under 240-11.3A4 for lot coverage by structure above 20%. Under 240-10.2A, pre-existing non-conforming structures may be changed by special permit, provided they're not substantially more detrimental than what exists. You're asked to consider the standards of 240-12.1E and whether or not that alteration creates any new dimensional nonconformities, impairs views and vistas, and reasonably conforms to the neighborhood. This application does not create any new nonconformities or affect the existing nonconforming setback. Under 240-11.3A4, lot coverage by structure may exceed 20% in the residential C zoning district by special permit from this board. You're asked to consider here the size and height of the structure in relation to the neighborhood, the effects of shadow, the impacts on views and vistas from public ways, and the effect of nitrogen on coastal embayments. I think it's important to note that the majority of what brings us above 20% is the pool, which is about 512 square feet. The pool is a structure by definition, but it's really not what the bylaw contemplates in looking at the size and height of structures and the massing of structures. We did prepare a lot comparison worksheet looking at the 21 properties within a 300-foot radius of this. It's certainly not out of line with those surrounding properties. It is among the larger, and without the pool included in that calculation, it's actually much closer to the average. The architectural design here is thoughtful. It's intended to replicate the existing style of the home. As mentioned, the proposed ridge height is 21 feet 9 inches, which is allowed under the bylaw. And given the location, there should be no impact on views and vistas and shadow on adjacent properties. The bedroom count, as I've noted, does technically increase, although it is allowed by right within a Little Pond Sewer District. The site plans before you have been updated in response to comments from the building department and the engineering department. The driveway has been modified as to not require a driveway permit, and we've added the sediment and erosion controls to the plans as well. The threshold question under 240-12.1E is, does the proposal have an adverse effect that overbalances the beneficial effects to the neighborhood and to the town? This lot's more than adequate in size. The proposal does not change the nature of the proposed use. It remains a single-family dwelling. It just increases the owner's utilization. There's no impact on traffic flow or safety. It remains in line with the neighborhood character, and it doesn't affect public services. This project doesn't affect the existing nonconformity, and there's no new nonconformities created. This does not have adverse effects that overbalance the benefits. I believe that this meets all the requirements of 240-10.2A, 240-11.3A4, and 240-12.1E. I believe you can and should grant the special permit, and I'd be happy to address any questions that the board may have at this time.
Mark, you want to start off?
Yeah, I don't really have any questions. It's a nice place. It's a nice addition. It's right in my backyard, basically, but I had forgotten when you cross Jericho Path how the lots get much larger.
Oh, double the size.
Yeah, and it almost makes it one of the nicer neighborhoods in
It's
town, doesn't it,
It's awfully
Kevin?
pretty up there, Mr. Finneran. That's all I'm going to say.
And that's all I have to say as well, except for your shirt. It's kind of subtle but electric.
You know, I need a little flair in my life.
Just, I think we should request it as-built. We're kind of getting a little tight on some of the numbers, so just an as-built.
Okay. Would you like an as-built as to height and lot coverage?
Please.
Okay.
Yep,
We can
thank
certainly
you.
do that.
Thank you.
Frank, you have anything?
No, the questions that he took care of it. Thank you.
Does the office have a wide door?
In the main house?
Yeah.
It must, is the short answer.
Didn't look like it on the plan, but it's hard to tell.
These plans are from the listing. These are not engineered plans. So the town has this assessed as a 3-bedroom, and if we needed to increase the width of any of the doors, we can certainly do so, but it hasn't come up in any of the referrals.
Yeah, no one said anything. I just was looking at
Yeah.
the plans. And
You know, I take those plans with very much a grain of salt.
Okay.
It's, I think, marginally better than me
Unstamped.
hand drawing one, but it's what they use for the real estate listings.
Okay. Do I condition something like that, do you think? The office?
It's on sewer, so they are limited
But
to
they,
a max
but
of-
doesn't the pool count as a?
Counts as the fourth.
Right. The pool area counts as another bedroom. So that would make 5.
I know when the assessors have had a concern in the past, they've issued a referral requesting a walkthrough, but that didn't seem to be a concern in this case.
Okay.
Yeah, but you also have a new assessor who may not have picked up on that, so maybe what we should do, just to be on the safe side, is to include either the assessor or the Board of Health verifying that it complies.
Okay. Let's do that as a condition then, yeah.
Remain 4-bedroom.
Yeah. That's all I have. Jim, do you have anything?
2 very ground ball questions, not going to affect my decision, just want to make sure I'm kind of completely where it's going on. Is this a plunge pool or actual pool?
It's an actual pool.
Okay.
It's
I was looking at the schematics, it was on my computer, and I couldn't tell.
it's one of the pools where you have a hot tub within a pool.
The other thing, I've never seen this on a plan before. I just wanted to know what it is. I presume it's when they're constructing the pool, but stockpile area, is that for, as during excavation?
I would assume so.
Okay, thank you.
I think that was part of the erosion and sediment control.
I've never seen that noted on a plan before, so I wanted to get clarification. Thank you. I have no other questions.
Tony?
I have no questions.
Nick? You good? You guys all set? We'll go to the public? Anybody from the public want to comment on this? Everybody's good? Okay, everybody's all set. Can I get a motion? With testimony, yes. We're getting there. We're getting there. Second. We have a motion and a second. You're all set, Attorney Clower? We're all set up here. Anybody have any further discussion up here?
No.
All those in favor, closing testimony? Aye. Opposed, none.
Motion to approve with conditions.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's do the findings.
Okay, there were no public comments, no noted letters in support or opposition in the file. Under section 240-10.2, non-conforming structure may be extended or altered by special permit from the zoning board of appeals, provided that the extension does not increase nonconformities, and in this particular situation, there are no new nonconformities. And the proposed structure will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. This is an RC district, so lot coverage by structure is a maximum of 20% with special permit allowing up to 25%, taking into consideration the size and height of the proposed structure relative to the size and height of the existing structures in the neighborhood, and we find that this is consistent. There's no evidence of effect of shadows on adjacent properties, no evidence of effect on neighborhood views and vistas or vistas from public ways. The property is on the sewer, so there's no negative effect or nitrogen on coastal embayments. With respect to the special permit, we find that the site is adequate for the proposed use. It is suitable for the proposed use. There's no evidence of negative impacts on traffic flow and safety. No evidence of negative impacts on neighborhood views and vistas and visual character. There's adequate sewage disposal, as evidenced by the sewer. There's adequate utilities, and there's no impact on the supply of affordable housing. In this particular situation, the shed will be removed. And also, on the plan, it said that the paved driveway will be converted to pervious surface.
Any further findings?
Did you reference the possible entry into the right-of-way?
That was one of the comments from the engineer who said that the fence may be in the right-of-way. He didn't actually measure it, but that's something you'll have to get a license from the Board of Selectmen if it is, or remove the fence. And also, the engineering department commented that a driveway permit may be necessary, but didn't say why, so you'll have to deal with that.
The revised plan was addressed that, and there was an email from the engineering department saying that the plan as shown would not require a driveway permit.
Fine, okay.
So those are findings. Conditions?
The as-built.
Per plan. The as-built on both. All boards. Probably will need to contact police, and that's a kind of a tight, during construction.
I don't think so.
Traffic on that street.
Yeah, I suppose. They did look like mostly all summer houses around there.
If needed.
If needed, yeah, we don't have to have a ban. And to remain 4-bedroom, is that the condition we'll use? Is that okay, Noreen? Just say it like that? No further structures, right? What's the lighting? Dark,
No.
don't mention lighting, okay. Hours of op? Anybody else have any other further conditions?
Obtain a license or remove an intrusion into the right-of-way if there is one.
Yeah. And that's it? Anybody, anything else? Noreen, anything else you can think of? Think we're all set? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Great.
Thank you.
All right, next at bat, we have, I'm not even going to attempt to say that last name, 20 Crosby Lane. How do I say it?
Piotrowicz.
Piotrowicz. Okay, thank you.
I hope I got that right.
With a name like Murphy, everything's tough after that. 20 Crosby Lane.
Okay, this is application 76 of the year 2025. Paul Piotrowicz has filed an appeal with the Falmouth Town Clerk pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 40A, Sections 8 and 15, and Zoning Bylaw, Section 12.4A, appealing a denial of a building permit by the building commissioner for property at 20 Crosby Lane in East Falmouth, Massachusetts. The property is in an RA zoning district. It is in the Waquoit Bay Coastal Pond Overlay District. It is in a nitrogen-sensitive area. The house on the property has been destroyed by fire and was demolished. So there's no structure on the property at the present time. The prior structure, though, was a single-family dwelling, 5 bedrooms, 3,200 square feet. The proposal is a single-family dwelling, 4 bedrooms, 3,034 square feet. But we first have to determine if this is a buildable lot. The lot itself is 25,354 square feet in a zoning district which currently requires 40,000. Street frontage is 130 feet. 100 feet is minimum required. You didn't see whether it was a public or private ways. I think, is that private out there? Do we know?
Private.
Private, it's a private way.
I didn't see that either.
The lot coverage by structure, there's nothing there, but the proposal is for 14.5%, which is within the zoning bylaw. Lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving, there's nothing there, but proposals for 20.7%. The zoning bylaw allows for 40%. Of course, there's no zoning nonconformities on the property because there's nothing to not conform. The Board of Health has advised us that they're okay for standard Title V septic system if a building permit is issued. The Conservation Commission has conducted an administrative review and has no comment. The Water Department advises us that there's no water service at the present time. And the Building Commissioner sent a letter saying that the house and foundation were removed without a building permit and it lost its protection. But today, there's one letter in support in the file. Today, we received another letter from the Building Commissioner, which I'm going to read because it's kind of brief. This is from Gary Street, certified building official of the town of Falmouth, dated December 11th, 2025. Dear members of the Board of Appeals and the Chair, please read this letter into the record at the public hearing. The above referenced subject property is before your board appealing my determination of denying a building permit for a dwelling on said property. My denial is based on the fact that the previous structure being removed with no building permit to construct a new dwelling. The applicant's only option was to appeal my determination so that he can receive relief from the Board of Appeals to be able to construct his or her home. The Board of Appeals is the only one that can approve relief to allow this to be a buildable lot. I would support and sanction a positive decision from the board. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Respectfully, Gary Street. There was another letter that was the subject of the appeal, which basically said the same thing. The Building Commission had determined in a letter on October 16th, 2025, that the lot is a non-conforming lot. It is a non-conforming lot, but that's may not be important. Lost its protection when the structure and foundation were removed without a building permit, and it has been vacant for 2 years. So that is what we are determining whether that's correct or not.
Just as a point of clarification, there was some confusion in what was sent to the board in writing, and the building commissioner confirmed that the demolition of the former structure did have a building permit for that demolition and removal. What he found was lacking was a building permit application for the replacement structure.
Yeah, well, okay, I didn't understand that.
So, just as
Tear
clarification.
it down, you're supposed to have a permit
So-
in hand.
Yes.
So
in order to
they
keep your
had a permit
nonconformity.
for the demo, they just did not have a plan for a new replacement
have a
house
permit
at
to
the time.
Demolished, yeah.
Okay, but
And they
that wasn't-
sold and moved to.
And these are the previous owners,
Yeah, the
nothing to do
previous
with
owner.
what this.
It was actually
It's-
on solid waste with us, and they couldn't find a place to rent in the interim, and I believe they moved to Plymouth and stayed there, as I recall, but it's been several years. He's a good kid.
Sir, would you like to talk to us?
Good
Please.
evening. My name is Piotrowicz, my wife Ann here. We're here regarding our request for the special permit to build a single-family home on the property at 20 Crosby Lane. It was mentioned that there's a 4-bedroom. We're actually only building a 2-bedroom home there, and that's what the plans indicate. We purchased this lot after the previous owner, a previous home, a 5-bedroom, single-family residence was there, destroyed by fire. The property has long been recognized as a residential lot, and the Board of Health has already approved our septic system, conservation, and we were just denied on the building permit itself. We understand this lot is considered non-conforming under the current zoning bylaws, but it had a legally existing home on it for many years. We've made every effort to follow the proper procedures, submit all submitted plans, required plans, and ensure compliance with all Falmouth zoning bylaws. It's worth noting, too, that the previous owners did have intention to rebuild after the fire, but unfortunately, they had a lot of personal problems because of the fire, and following through with pulling the permit and restarting that construction simply wasn't possible for them. Their intention, however, was always to restore a home that was stood there for decades. At this stage of our lives, we're simply trying to rebuild a modest home for a retirement. I'm 75, and I will not say how old Ann is, but she's much younger than me.
I respect that.
And we have invested quite a bit of money in this property, a large portion of our retirement. And at our age, that money would be impossible to recoup. I'm done with work, and Ann is just about to be done with work. So we're just hoping that we can get this special permit through. I've been a remodeler and a builder for over 40 years, and throughout my career, I've helped many families build and improve their homes. This project represents something deeply personal, the chance to finally build something for Ann and myself, a home of our own where we can enjoy our latter years together. We have both been coming to Falmouth since our teens at different times, and we've each always had a strong affection for this town. My daughter, our daughter, and her family own a home in Falmouth, which Ann and I visit often. So being able to live nearby would be a very big benefit for us. We believe that granting this permit will not only comply with the intent of the zoning bylaws, but will also enhance the neighborhood. The lot has been overgrown and filled with dead trees since the fire, and our plan to clear, landscape, and rebuild will greatly improve its appearance, safety, and overall appeal. We've already had the pleasure of meeting several of our neighbors. They've been very supportive, inviting us down for barbecues, even to Christmas gatherings. The neighbor directly behind our lot told us he was excited to see us come in, clearing the property and restoring it to a well-kept, lived-in home. We love the town of Falmouth and look forward to becoming active members of the community. We respectfully ask for your understanding and support in approving the permit so that we can make this long-awaited dream a reality. And just thank you for your time that's spent on this.
Great. Let's start down this side.
I have nothing right now.
You're okay. Tony?
This, under 240-10-4B, paragraph 3, subset A, 1 through 4, next paragraph B, this seems to be a buildable lot. I pulled the plan at the registry. This goes back to June 23rd, 1966. So it existed prior to January 1st, 1981. It has at least 50 feet of frontage because it has 130 feet of frontage. So based on what I've read in the bylaw, this is a buildable lot. And this, I would encourage this board to approve it as such.
Jim?
I agree with the assessment. This is a situation in which we are looked at as a board of relief, but I think that relief is appropriate.
I agree. Frank?
I think this is a buildable lot, and under the zoning bylaw, we have the authority to reestablish the buildability of the lot under section 240-10.5A3, and I would so vote when we get to there.
I support the Building and Zoning Commissioner's letter that was read by Frank into the testimony this evening, and it's a perfect lot for you to finally get going, and I'm sure the abutters will be pleased that you'll build this nice little home there, so I'd approve it also. Good luck.
Thank you.
The only thing I'd like to add is Yeah, we're the Board of Relief, and obviously, we're going to give you the relief that you ask, but also, we have to limit it, so you would, my understanding, the way I look at it, you would have to abide by all the setbacks, which would be 25 in the front and 10 on the sides, which you have ample room to do so. And other than that, good luck and God bless you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
One point for clarification, while your plans identify 2 specific rooms as bedrooms, when the Board of Health looks at plans, they count bedrooms based on what would qualify as a bedroom by Title V. So for example, if you have an office that exceeds 80 square feet and has a door, you don't use it as a bedroom, but they call it a potential bedroom. So I think according to Board of Health, they would technically be referring to you having 4 bedrooms. But
Okay.
again, it's just a matter of the Board of Health identifying that your septic is
Aren't you
sufficient.
reusing a 5-bedroom septic that was there already?
No,
No?
we're putting a brand-new one in.
The new one?
Actually, when I first received the plan, the deed, and the plans, an engineer had lived there, and they had plans made for a septic. I brought it to the health department, and they said they would prefer that I had it redone in our name, and it was actually upgraded from what they had had, so we had that done.
So that's a new home with an IA. It's outside of our purview anyways, but it's
No,
not.
Board of Health, I think, identified that based on the time of his application with them,
before.
he preceded the IA requirement.
If I may, Madam Chair, this isn't a special permit.
Right,
We're just dealing with the building commissioner's
I agree, it's
determination.
just more for my clarification. I apologize, yep.
So
Okay.
I'll,
Motion to close this?
motion to close testimony.
Second.
Are you all set?
Yes.
Everybody's all set up? Wait, I didn't go to public.
Public
I
comment.
did not go to public. Time out. Anybody from the public want to comment on this application? Appeal? Everybody's all set? Sorry. All right, back to that. So we have a motion to close. No further testimony. Everyone's all set up here? All those in favor of closing?
Aye.
Opposed? None? So we're just here on the appeal itself?
I'll make a go
Make a
ahead, Frank.
motion?
Go ahead, Frank.
The building commissioner's letter didn't specify a condition of the zoning bylaw for the denial, but I'm assuming it's 240-10.5A3, which says that a non-conforming use that has been abandoned, abolished, or demolished without reconstruction and not used for a period of 2 years shall lose its protected status. However, the zoning bylaw may reestablish a non-conforming use by taking into consideration the following. There's no substantial detriment to the neighborhood, and we make that finding. Also, the lot, we find that the lot is adequate for the proposed use for residential purposes, that there appears to be adequate off-street parking. The lot coverage issue is not before us right now because we don't have a plan for the house. There's no evidence of negative impact on traffic. There's adequate access to public ways. The intended use conforms to the zoning bylaw, and there's no evidence of negative impact on public safety. As far as the special permit goes, under section 240-12.1E of the zoning bylaw, we find that the site is adequate for a single-family house. The site is suitable for a single-family house. There's no evidence of negative impact on traffic flow and safety. There are adequate utilities in this neighborhood. There's adequate sewage disposal because they'll have to apply to the Board of Health for a septic permit. There's no evidence right now of impact on visual characters in the neighborhood, and doesn't appear to be any negative impact on affordable housing.
So hand me the motion.
So I guess the motion, and please, I'll be happy to a little wordsmithing on this, to affirm the appeal overturning the building commissioner's determination and denial of the building permit, for the reasons that Mr. Duffy stated.
Second?
We have a motion and a second.
I think
Everyone's all set on this?
Yes.
All those in favor of Jim's motion?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Thank
All
you
set.
so much.
Good luck.
Good luck.
It's a beautiful lot up there.
Or it will be when you're done.
All right, moving on. We have 483 Central Ave.
This is application 77 of the year 2025. Elizabeth F. Wadman, trustee, has applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to sections 240-10.2A of the Code of Falmouth, which is the zoning bylaw, to raise and rebuild the rear portion of the non-conforming dwelling. The property is located at 483 Central Avenue in East Falmouth. The zoning district is RB. We're in the Bournes Pond, Coastal Pond Overlay District. We're in a nitrogen-sensitive area. We're in an AE 13 flood zone. The existing structure is a 5-bedroom, single-family dwelling, 2,589 square feet. The proposal is for a 5-bedroom, single-family dwelling, 2,657 square feet. No previous decisions of the Board of Appeals on record. The lot is 14,250 square feet. 40,000 is the minimum in the district. Street frontage is 100, and that conforms to zoning, which requires 100. Central Avenue is a public right-of-way at this particular location. The existing lot coverage by structure is 18.16%. It will be increased slightly to 18.64%. The limit is 20, so that's conforming. Lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving is currently 22.4%, would be increased to 24.6% within the limits of 40% of the zoning bylaws, so that's conforming. The building, current building has 2 nonconformities noted. One is the easterly setback of 2.1 feet, which is the setback from Central Avenue, and then the northerly setback of 3.4%, where 10 feet is required. On the street, by the way, 25 feet is required. We have engineering referral. They asked us to consider that stormwater be retained on the property. Health has no issues. Conservation advises us that they have approved the project by issuing a negative request for determination of applicability. The Water Department recommends an upgrade to 1-inch PE with the meter in the house. The building commissioner has advised us that the proposed structure must comply with FEMA regulations. There's one letter in support of the project on the file.
Good evening again. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Again, for the record, Kevin Clower, for the applicants Elizabeth and David Wadman, who are the owners of 483 Central Avenue, and they're seeking permission to renovate the existing non-conforming dwelling by removing the existing back portion and rebuilding it. 483 Central is located at the very southern end of Central Avenue. It's located directly between Herney Street and Bullock Street, in an area that I've heard referred to as Old Minot a number of times. This lot's 14,250 square feet, which is pretty typical for the area. It is in the Residential B zoning district, and it is in an AE 13 flood zone. Presently, there's a 5-bedroom, single-family dwelling on the lot. Total footprint is 2,589 square feet, which is 18.2% lot coverage by structure. As Mr. Duffy noted, the existing dwelling is non-conforming to the front yard setback to Central Avenue, which is 2.1 feet, where 25 is required, and the side yard setback to the north, which is 3.4 feet, where 10 is required. The existing ridge height is 23 feet, 11 3/16 inches. This property's been in the applicant's family since at least 1972, and while it is lovely, the house is in need of upgrades and repairs, both cosmetically and functionally. So what they're proposing is to raise the western portion of the dwelling and rebuild in a manner that offers them better functionality. It's going to provide garage space on the first floor where none exists, and the second floor space is to be a primary bedroom for the home. The existing non-conforming side yard setback to the north will be entirely eliminated. That'll be improved from 3.4 feet to 10.2 feet. The lot coverage by structure will remain conforming at 18.6%, which is an increase of only 68 square feet over the existing. The ridge of the proposed addition will be slightly higher than the main portion of the house. It'll be 29 feet, 6.5 inches, which is, again, below the 35 feet that's allowed by right. And there's no increase in the number of bedrooms, which will remain at 5. Due to the existing nonconformities, this requires a special permit under 240-10.2A. which allows for pre-existing non-conforming structures to be changed by special permit, provided they're not substantially more detrimental than what exists. And you're asked to consider the standards of 240-12.1E and whether or not the alteration creates any new dimensional nonconformities, impairs views and vistas, and reasonably conforms to the neighborhood. In this case, there's no new nonconformities created. The existing nonconforming side yard setback is entirely eliminated. There's no effect on the existing front yard setback. There's no effect on the views and vistas from the public ways, and the area of change here is really set back from the street and will remain consistent with the neighborhood. Though we're not seeking a special permit under 240-11.3A4, I did submit a lot comparison worksheet because I think it shows just how consistent this is with the neighborhood. Of the 28 properties within a 300-foot radius, this is almost exactly at the average. The footprint is 28 square feet larger than the average. The gross floor area is only 71 square feet larger than the average. I did note the referral from the building commissioner, which we discussed with him. This project will comply with flood zone standards and FEMA requirements, and he simply said, basically affirming that we had to, which of course we do. So we have every intent to, and we've had a, not that it matters to this board, but we had a FEMA worksheet completed, which does show that this can be done for less than 50% of the value of the structure. The Wadman's proposal represents a significant improvement over the existing conditions for the applicants. It eliminates the non-conforming side yard setback with no new dimensional nonconformities. There's no adverse effects that overbalance the benefits here, and there's nothing about this proposal that is substantially more detrimental than what exists. This meets the requirements of 240-10.2A, 240, and 240-12.1E. For these reasons, I believe that you should grant the special permit, but I would, of course, be happy to address any questions that the board may have at this time.
Sounds good. You want to start off?
Why not? Start off with nothing. It's fairly obvious that an improvement's necessary. I mean, there's no way they can spend any winter moments down in that existing structure, and thing's probably been there since 1929.
1927, actually.
Wow,
Had a good guess.
Yes. I was going to ask how old it was.
Yeah, just ask me.
That's pretty good.
Well, you can tell. There was lots of changes in that period, in the styles, whatever. But anyway, no, obviously they well within their rights, and it's certainly maybe even a couple of years past due.
Well, after the Finner and carbon dating, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Walkthrough, he had one of those, things you use to date the dinosaur bones. He's dusting it.
Good job.
You have one clarification for the record. The nonconformity to the north is currently 3.4 feet. It's going to be improved to 10.2.
That's correct.
Right. And the front setback on the street of 2.1, that's the closest of any house on the whole street. You're not
1927.
changing it so you can keep it, but you can just basically reach out and touch the cars going by.
Well, they have the hedge in front. I mean, it's one, to their benefit, there's actually a substantial amount of the road layout that's not developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you stand on a sidewalk, there's probably still 10 feet before you even get to their property line, but it is awfully close.
Yeah. All right.
Doesn't look like it's ever been hit.
Tempting fate.
It did say in the file that you need a disposal work permit. Did you see that in the file?
Yeah, we'll, whatever is required, we'll of course obtain.
It'll be under, in the,
Yeah.
in the decision.
And, as we've discussed, this isn't a blanket permit, so we understand that we have to go through all the appropriate steps with all the other departments.
I have no questions. It's a very nice,
For my own,
project.
what's that, just a dumpster permit?
I think so. I just read it in the file. I didn't even remember
Sounds
which
so much
department.
nicer than a dumpster permit.
It does.
I think you also run into issues with older structures if, anything that they're demoing might be technically hazardous. They may have to comply with separate
Oh, yeah, you
stringent-
can't tear anything down until they ensure that there's no asbestos. They'll go in and they'll cut holes everywhere to see. They're very efficient with that.
I remember when 40 Main was completely renovated, they found horsehair insulation and had to, do quite a bit of asbestos remediation there. And, they'll, again, of course.
I think they charge by the hole because they do them all over. It's crazy.
They'll, of course,
They don't let
comply with
anything
any
get by them.
requirements.
You're all set?
I'm
Jim?
good, thank you.
Tony, you have any questions?
Very nice project. No,
Just a statement.
just a statement.
And you're all set?
You guys are being too nice tonight. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
concerned.
Every now and then.
It's the holiday spirit, maybe.
Better treat that lucky shirt with respect.
Anybody from the
We're wearing
public?
this next week, too.
Sorry. Anybody from the public want to comment on this project? All right. Any further questions up here, anybody? You all set?
Motion to close testimony.
Oh, he beat you. You can second him, though.
Second that, though.
All right. We have a motion to close testimony and a second. Are we all set? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none? Frank, we'll do findings?
Any discussion? Right. Fine. Under section 240.10.2A, or 240.10.2, we have a non-conforming structure because the easterly setback, which is the setback from Central Avenue, is 2.1 feet, and the setback to the north is currently 3.4 feet. So you need a special permit for any alteration, extension, or reconstruction of the single-family house, which is non-conforming. There should be no new nonconformities, and in this particular case, there are no new nonconformities. And in fact, the northerly nonconformity will be rendered conforming, and it will be 10.2 feet setback on the north. So we find that the proposed structure will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. Will qualify for a special permit. Conditions for the special permit, we find that the site is adequate for the proposed use, the site is suitable for the proposed use, there's no evidence of negative impact to traffic flow and safety, there's no evidence of negative impact to neighborhood visual character, views or vistas, there's adequate sewage disposal, there's adequate utilities, and there's no negative impact on the supply of affordable housing. We had one letter in support in the file and no opposition at the hearing.
Okay. And then conditions. All plans, per plans, I have to sneeze.
Bless you.
So, you got rid of it for me, though. All boards, construction hours, that will probably, you can handle the construction. Any other conditions? Check on the disposal work permit that I read about. Any other conditions? Noreen, do you have any? I think that's it. Right? Yeah, I think we're good. All right, so we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with conditions and the findings just read into the record and agreed upon.
And I'll second. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None.
All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate your time this evening.
All right.
I love that you're cooking with gas right now.
Yeah, aren't we? We got Bruins. All right.
Great night, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. We have minutes. We have October 16, November 6, and November 20, if I'm correct. So I'll make a motion to approve those.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Everybody's all set with those and read them, and we're all good to vote? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of October 16, November 6, and November 20 of 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none. All right, next, we have a request for an insubstantial change.
Good evening. David Calhoun from Falmouth Southerly LLC, Saxon Partners. We're here follow up. As you know, we've been through a long process. We're now starting to get to the point where we're developing construction drawings. And we reached out to Gary Street for a pre-construction meeting. Under our permit, we're required to have a pre-construction meeting, which happens just before you get going. And we have a practice of wanting to go and meet with the local building inspector to find out if there's anything that he likes that isn't really written in the rules and regs, so that we make sure that everything we do goes as smoothly as possible, because we know there's a lot of desire to see this actually finally happen. So when we met with Gary, we presented a revised footprint, which shrinks the buildings slightly. The buildings are about a foot thinner and about 15 feet shorter. When you do that, what winds up happening is the actual physical units are reduced slightly. Noreen actually was one of the many participants. We had the fire department. We had a lot of folks from the town departments. They felt that it was a good idea if the building was shrinking, as long as we stayed within the guidelines for what's considered not a substantial change, and that our units don't decrease or increase by more than 10%. So what it winds up doing in addition to making the filing electronically, the way you guys work now, we also had these prepared so you guys would have a quick look at what we're doing, the letter that establishes the position. And then if you look closely at drawing C-103, the plan that we hopefully you'll see, if you look at that first one on your right-hand side, you can see the blue dashed lines. You see the little blue dash. That's just the, so that we could clarify to the board where the old foundation is. And then if you turn to the next page, you will see the whole project in any dimensional changes that changed. So that there's, obviously the building got thinner, got shorter, some of the dimensions on it changed. And it was recommended that we submit this to you all clouded so it could quickly be looked at. And we also provided a revised layout. As you'll recall, during the zoning board process for a 40B, you're not really providing many dimensions. You're just giving an average unit size and the number of units. And this will be the revised layout. We provided a revised building footprint. And actually what winds up happening when we're all said and done with this improvement is the impervious area on the project will decrease by approximately 10,000 square feet. But we believe we meet all the requirements for this to be an insubstantial change, and our goal would be to get you to confirm that today so that we can keep cranking on drawings.
Go ahead, Mark.
So what precipitated this, just for my own curiosity?
Well,
where they were just rough drawings in the beginning, and when you started to throw it together, dimensionally, it just worked better?
When you go to the ZBA for any 40B, your goal obviously is to get your biggest footprint you can, as much height as you can, because you're getting the zoning relief. So you lay out a very conservative layout. Then once you get that approval, you move from what I would refer to as very preliminary conceptual plans. Except your civil plans under the 40B process are almost, I would say they're 85, maybe 90% construction drawings because of the stormwater review and everything that has to happen. You have to get that far.
Close.
But on your building drawings, it is truly conceptual at that stage. So then once you get your approval, you then get into the meat of it and you start doing your layout and determining, okay, the building's all electric, I don't need rooms for gas meters, I don't need this, I don't need this space. So the building starts to get closer to what you can really build. You then look at the market and you look at your final approved mix. And in this case, for example, the average units when we reviewed for you, a one-bedroom was 848 square feet. It's now 786 square feet, so it went down by 62. We felt that the two bedrooms needed just a little bit more room, so they went from 1,229 square feet down to up to 1,248. The three bedrooms, kind of oversized those, they were 1,670 square feet. They're now down to 1,555. I have a cheat sheet if you guys want a copy of it to see.
No, I was just looking for a rough answer. Now, was there a change in parking or something?
No.
No? So I thought somebody pointed out the circle there, but, no.
Still the same number of parking spaces, still the same, exact same layout.
Yeah.
Good evening. I know it's not why you're here this evening, but I was just wondering, would it be okay for you to give us some additional color on the wastewater permit, or when you potentially might seek a permit here with the building commissioner? Any timeline at all, rough even?
The goal right now is to try to be in the ground by June, blowing and going.
So the permit will be long before that?
Our groundwater discharge permit? Our groundwater discharge permit has been issued in draft form, and once that should be completed, I would imagine sometime in mid-January, 100%. So it's, but the DEP process was very thorough, as they always are, and they took a lot of comments from a lot of different people, and, yeah. So
No problem hitting that April date with a
Excuse-
building permit?
well,
Our April date?
right now, just talking, it typically takes 6 to 9 months to do construction drawings. Because we have civils further along, and if this footprint is okay, we're going to then start cranking. The hope is to get 2 construction drawings in less than 6 months. So if everything goes well and we have those, it would be supportive of being in the building department. The meeting with the building department was very, very helpful. Gary and his team were very supportive. They appreciated the fact that we were there as a pre-meeting. The fire department was there. They went through a lot of the different qualifications and different things that they want. And I do think the electronic filing process is very helpful, and that may push things along faster. But I would think we would be in the ground by June. May start a little bit earlier than that, site work, but I would hope you'd see some concrete going in the ground by then.
Thank you.
Frank, do you have any questions?
No.
I don't either. Jim, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I would like to offer a comment to the audience, just so they understand what exactly is being asked tonight. I know this is a very contentious issue. If you recall, this is a permit, 40B, that's been approved. You've heard Mr. Calhoun talk about once things are approved, they're moving things around. The statute, the CMR, 760 CMR 5605, basically sets out when a 40B, an approved permit wants to be modified, the board is asked, is this change substantial or insubstantial? And there's a very strict criteria of what constitutes a substantial change. If the board finds that what is proposed is a substantial change, a full hearing is triggered. If it is an insubstantial change, there is not a full hearing, and what is proposed or what is being asked tonight as a matter of law doesn't qualify. A reduction in the size or placement of the buildings or the square footage of the footprint clearly doesn't qualify. It would be substantial if he came back and said, well, we want to add another 100 units. That would trigger a full hearing. But what is being proposed tonight as a matter of law is not a substantial change in my mind, so I don't want to. I think it's important. I see there's a lot of people who I remember during the permitting process of this, and just wanted to make sure that you understood what procedurally is going on tonight. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Tony?
I have no questions. Glad to hear that you're going to be starting soon.
So we.
Nick, you all set? Noreen, you good?
Yeah, I would, I guess, offer one additional comment, and that is that all the conditions of the original permit, except as modified in the modified permit, are still in full force and effect, and that the only thing that's before the board tonight is a specific request regarding shrinking the footprints, essentially.
Got to add, an insubstantial change cannot be withheld or denied. It just gets approved as a matter of right, if we find it's insubstantial.
Anybody else have anything? I'm going to let you guys speak, but it's not even really a public hearing. But if you'd like to come up and make a quick statement, you're welcome. Come on up.
Hello. Marjorie Parmenter, Meredith Drive. I understand the substantial versus insubstantial, so I'm going to drop my plea for that. However, these footprints could have been changed any time, right? So why now? Why wasn't this done earlier? By lowering the footprints, the buildings impact the total impervious surfaces. Determining the total impervious surface area is part of the MIPA review process and their thresholds. Right now, Saxon is working with MIPA regarding the MIPA review. So I just can't help but wonder if it's more than just a coincidence that now it's coming up. It's a sensitive thing with the MIPA review, considering where we live on the Cape. So I'm just saying, I don't think it's a good idea for you guys to make changes like this, or for them to do it, while it's being discussed in the MIPA office, and it's not yet finalized. So I'm asking you, could you possibly postpone this request until after the MIPA review process is done? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up.
Good evening, Kathleen Crowley Braga, 63 Deepwood Drive. This is my public comment. MIPA review is intended to inform the proponent and each participating agency to maximize consistency between agency action and to facilitate coordination of all environmental and development review of permitting processes of the Commonwealth. It provides an opportunity in one or more review documents for the proponent to identify required agency actions and describe and analyze how the project complies with applicable regulatory standards and requirements. I am not going to read the entire thing that is online. You're all intelligent people, and you can check it out for yourselves. But I would like to say, as part of my public comment, to please remember, as we move forward, and I want to say one thing. There have been board members that have made comment like, congratulations, good luck, hope it's great. Not so much. That's not how we feel as your constituents. Please remember, if you haven't recalled directly, access to directly across the street from 375 Sandwich Road, I invite you to go on a nature walk with me, and I will happily show you myself, is Mayor's Pond Well. Mayor's Pond Well is 3% of our clean drinking water that comes from that well. Now, with all of these new buildings and community and members coming into our community, there are lots of units and lots that are being built. All you have to do is drive around Falmouth to see them. Where's all of our clean drinking water going to come from in the future? A reminder of a fireman that came to Lawrence School when this all first started, who spoke very professionally and eloquently and comment, quote unquote, you're going to drain Long Pond if 375 catches on fire. You will drain Long Pond. Where is the water going to come from if there is a fire? Remember, not too long ago, 30-plus firefighters were at Lakeshore Drive across the street from my home for one structure, for one dwelling. 30 firefighters for one dwelling. It was a small, simple Cape. 4 occupants were in that home. 4. Not 300, not 600, not 900. 4 people, 2 dogs died. They couldn't get the trucks to come down Deepwood Pinecrest Beach Drive. It was too narrow, too difficult for them to get in. Think about Lakeshore, Deepwood, Pinecrest Beach Drive, and the surrounding neighborhood. That neighborhood mirrors across the street of Meredith, Parker Mill Road. Remember Coonamessett River Foundation and the millions of dollars that was spent and still being spent to save the herring run and the Coonamessett River. So when we congratulate this building being put in, think about the eastern box turtle, the lady slipper, the herring that we need to have to feed our ocean larger fish, the cod, the haddock. Think about how much fried fish is produced for people to come here as tourists. We need the herring. Remember yesterday when you were sitting in construction traffic along Sandwich Road in front of RJ's Variety, in front of Papa Jake's, in front of the lovely little Brazilian restaurant shop that's there, next to Hand in Hand. Remember that? Yesterday when you were trying to get uptown and you couldn't, or buses were running late and things were detoured? What is it gonna look like on Sandwich Road in June? Congratulations. That makes me sad that we're congratulating this. How, I ask you, will traffic be when 375 Sandwich Road is approved? How will construction trucks, materials get in and out safely? And what off-Cape construction companies might they be used? How will that loss of revenue for our local tradesmen, our local companies, affect our community, our revenue? As a mother and a grandmother who chose Falmouth, chose to raise my children, chose to build my home, chose to volunteer in this community, chose to work within this community, I didn't choose this. You chose it for me. So when you congratulate somebody, please think of that. This monstrosity does not belong. By ripping down woods, by destroying the Coonamessett River, by destroying our little community. I am not against affordable housing at all. I'm against 375 Sandwich Road and its location. Once more, I'm not a housing expert, I'm not a contractor. I'm a mother and a grandmother and a wife, and I oppose greed, and I will not be intimidated in that hallway by you or anyone else. And that was...
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
This is not a public hearing, Madam Chairman. This is not a public hearing, Madam Chairman. I applaud you for
Okay.
extending
All
some
right.
comments, but this is not...
Can you be quick, please?
Yes. You have my statement.
Sorry.
Already.
Oh,
But I
are you
just,
the one that wrote the statement?
yes, I just want,
Came too late.
yes, so I just want to make sure it's on the record for the people on,
Yes, it is.
at home
Yeah.
in television land, too. Thank you for having the meeting and whatever, it's not a hearing, so I can't thank you for listening, but I wish somebody was listening. My understanding is that they are supposed to be doing a MEPA review, and there's concern that this last-minute change is an attempt to evade that responsibility. It's been clear since the outset the developer has no regard for the well-being of this community. They've left a tree sitting on the old farmhouse for months, like a reminder that they couldn't care less about the neighbors. Those of us who call this home need clean water and want our government to enforce laws, regulations, and standards to protect us. We cannot know Saxon's intent or if this proposed change is an attempt to change the requirement of MEPA. We do know that a MEPA is critical and that it would be a bad idea to approve any changes to the building plan now before the MEPA review and possibly help them avoid that important process. It's also been almost impossible to even know what the plans are, so having another change of plans was just like really unacceptable. Please do not approve any changes, and we ask that the developer do a better job of accurately presenting their plans. That's the least they can do for this agricultural community. And I also just want to mention that a kid was hit by a car, a hit and run, right across from where this project is going to be in November. And the number of accidents has just been out of control, and I'm just horrified there's been no kind of safety planning in addition to the water and everything else this community is losing. And it is disappointing, not only to feel we haven't been heard, but to see you congratulating him. It's so sad.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
mind if I say something? I mean, you were all there and you saw us work, and it went on for a long time, and we did the very best that we could. And as far as the safety part, we secured a sidewalk on, from Brick Hill Road up to this property, which is absolutely an improvement and something that I fought hard for. As far as the MEPA thing, I mean, I'm no expert. I did go to an engineering school, but it would be my suggestion that to shrink the footprints of these buildings would only lessen the impact. And that's all I have to say. I mean, we did our very best. Through the chair.
Is it okay?
Sure.
Just a quick clarification on MIPA. We met with MIPA 18, maybe 24 months ago before the process started, and people kind of have this conception that MIPA is a regulatory authority. MIPA is not a regulatory authority. They do not issue a permit. They were designed to be a sounding board to make sure that when all of a sudden the state is building a highway, that the conservation knows that the highway's coming. And it's more of a coordinating of efforts. And we met with MIPA. There are very, very clear thresholds which you have to exceed to require a MIPA review. And we do not exceed the thresholds requiring the review. So we're in good standing with MIPA. And if you also look at the current regulations, MIPA is in the process. They just finished a 6-month, maybe even a 9-month reforming of their regulations, that if you're doing housing, because they saw MIPA as being a stumbling block or a delay, that if you're doing housing and your development has at least 60% of a residential element, the whole MIPA process collapses into a very short notification form because they recognized that it was stepped beyond its original intentions, which was to keep the government from building things and not communicating with their other agencies. So it's a good thing for housing development. The position that we're trying to skirt something or do something, we would not be making this large of an investment without checking every single box 3 times till Sunday. And we have done that, and we'll continue to do that. And I hope when we're done, that many of the people that don't like it may find that it's a great place to live. And so that's where we're at, and we think we meet the criteria for this to be insubstantial, and we hope that you guys agree.
Okay, thank you. Jim, you want to make me a motion?
Sure. Having reviewed what has been proposed, there is nothing that would trigger a substantial change as defined in 760-56.05. So for those reasons only, I will make a motion that this constitutes an insubstantial change.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. All
Okay,
right.
just procedurally for the benefit of the audience, that if the board did nothing, this gets automatically approved within 20 days. So this had to be taken up tonight.
Okay, board discussion?
I have something.
Go ahead, Mark.
Last week, we had an application which required a peer review, a peer engineer's review. And that review, even though the applicant pays for it, it's for our benefit. That review wasn't submitted until 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. I had absolutely no chance to review it. And this isn't the first time this has happened. And I just would like to demand that these peer engineer reviews are delivered to us 5 days before the hearing. I'm not able to do my job. Some of you got to review it that afternoon, and not thoroughly enough, I might add. And, you know, I came in and Scott pointed out to me, he said, like, no sidewalk. And I'm thinking sidewalk like Sandwich Road and sidewalk like the entrance of the other applications, you know, outside the property. And of course, he was, you know, his retard meter must have been pegged at 11 because he was talking about the inside, and it's simply because I had no opportunity to review this. And so, and then the following day, I mean, I had to think this through, and I did some other relative things to it, but if this situation comes up again, and we don't get our peer review 5 days before the application, I won't participate in the hearing. And I think it's not an unusual request. I need my facts before I do my job. And these last-minute things, they're getting paid. I'm sure they don't, whatever, I don't want to go any further, but I just, it's just the way it has to. I hope you all agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did, definitely.
Yeah,
I guess when we issue the scope of
And I
work,
don't-
can we put
We
that
do
in there?
normally ask that those peer reports come in a week ahead for that
Well,
purpose.
I mean, normally, we ask everybody to be, applicants have to generally follow by the 1 week. Abutters, we can't shut them down, but there's certain instances where abutters can put something in at last minute just to try to, I'm not saying all of them, but it leaves the opportunity for them to throw a monkey wrench in our gearbox. But with this, it just,
No, it's
I'm
perfect.
firm and absolute with that. I won't participate.
No, it's perfectly
Because I can't come
reasonable.
into a hearing and stupid and do my job properly. And I'm here to do my job for everyone in this town. And they're getting paid.
Through you, Madam Chair, when Mark is done, sorry. I think it's a very valid point, and it's, I share Mr. Finneran's frustration about being on the fly, because I don't always have time afternoon, and I'm certainly not, I don't think anyone's blaming you, Noreen.
No,
but-
we do typically ask for a week ahead, and I think it's perfectly reasonable for us to remind them that we need that
My
in
suggestion would
advance.
be, in the scope of work or the contract that the town assigns, is to include a very specific provision
And
stating.
a week, 5 days is sufficient, but
I agree.
2 or 3 days isn't. Some of us still work, and, we have,
Getting back to
5
the
site
point about
visits this week.
not being able to make a informed decision, I think at that point, just to announce that this is going to be a continuation due to the fact that we don't have our peer review submitted timely. That's perfectly
Yeah,
acceptable thing to
That's
do.
an even better than, me not participating, because.
But it's good to put it in the contract, like you said, too.
Yeah, it
That's a
should be
good
written
idea.
in.
Well, the applicant wants it earlier also, so
course.
they're
Everybody
ready
wants it.
to respond.
They were
Is
just
that,
as,
Madam Chair, is that what's going to happen then? It will be in the contract?
can we do that?
I don't think
I
we,
don't know that the contract gets to that level, but I think we can certainly have that conversation when we're arranging a date, because we typically will go through the contract process with the peer, and what's typically in the contract is what their scope is, for example,
what they do,
right?
yeah.
And that what we would do is we'd say, okay, so, we're having a meeting on X date, and because we're having, we're confirming with you that you can attend on that date, and confirm that you will have us a written report a week in advance of that date.
So just add that part. to
It's
the-
fine.
Some of these are tight. 5 days is good for me. I would think it would be good for everybody
Yeah.
else. But, somewhere you got to write in there that they just risk a continuation, and that's going to be their time wasted as well. Not that I'm concerned with their time at all, because they don't seem to be concerned with ours. Just a fact.
I think you just add it onto the email, that works, yeah.
That's a pretty simple thing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's.
Okay, I skipped over number 3, discussion and possible vote on creating a negotiation committee to coordinate with 40Bs.
I don't think it needs any discussion.
I don't know if anyone wants to comment?
I'm concerned about this. I think it's a good idea that we have somebody that we nominate to perform this function. But this is a subcommittee. And it doesn't matter how many people are on it, whether it's 1, 2, 3, as long as it reports back to the board, it's a subcommittee and it's subject to the open meeting law. And I think we ought to have some guidelines from town council as to how this committee is to operate and how it's to perform. Because the last thing I want to see is a 40B project get jeopardized by a subcommittee that meets in violation of the open meeting law.
Okay.
Well, you'd have to have a quorum for that.
Yeah, you
No.
have to have
No, the subcommittee.
subcommittee.
Under subcommittee.
So we'll take, can you
You can have
explain
a
that to me?
one-person subcommittee,
Yeah.
a one-person
No,
subcommittee.
in other words, I don't understand how that affects.
You meet with
We've done
yourself
this
or
already.
by-
Because you have to, well,
keep
we're
minutes.
going to do it
Notice.
correctly going forward.
Yeah.
You have to have compliance with the open meeting law anytime a subcommittee meets. And a subcommittee meeting is any number of the people who report back to the body.
Well, you could just put in compliance with the open meeting law, and we could vote on it.
But I would like to see how it is. We don't need to do it tonight, but I think we should do it.
Oh, absolutely, I think that we've
So
proven
get
that.
verbiage from,
I would prefer to see how, everybody understand how they're going to operate.
okay.
Well, I think they've already have experience with that, and,
So when would we have this for?
So we'll do it, we'll put it on the agenda for next week.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would just point out to the board that at this particular time, we don't have anything from special town council requesting specific mediation. So the question I have is, what exactly are you creating a subcommittee to do? And I-
To ensure that our position is monitored and, you know, I mean, they're working for us. And
It's to be in place when we need it, instead of having to come back. Look at how long now this is going to take. If we need to have people in place, whoever those people would be, now we have to wait another week. We need something in place with whatever opportunity, requirements are necessary, just ready to go when we need it.
And I mean,
Look at what's happening right now with all the 40Bs in front of us now, and depending on when they pull their permits, you know, all the 40Bs that could come in after them. We need this in place so it can function when we need it to function. One thing about government I found out is that it moves as slow as you can possibly make it happen. So let's just get it in place now. If Mr. Duffy wants to have some more definitive rules as to how we operate, I can certainly understand that.
Yeah, I like the idea of having us ready to go.
And we're already going on one hand already, and I mean, something might come up between now and next week where we should be monitoring the progress, and,
So this should come up next week. How would you propose getting it done?
We'll get the guidelines, you'll email tomorrow, get the guidelines that Frank is looking for.
Okay,
right?
so the particular problem is that we don't have a specific purpose for
Sure we do.
a mediator
Sure we do.
at this time.
We do.
All right,
We do.
on advice of counsel, I was told we did not.
And the statute does not require that.
yeah.
There is nothing in the statute, and I'm not an attorney, folks. I mean, we have two attorneys here, so I'm not going to act like one. But I read the statute. There's no requirement for that. I read our bylaws, our procedural rules. We can set up a subcommittee anytime we want.
Okay, but the other part is that the subcommittee's role is not defined, and depending on what case it is, it may be before the entire board and not subject to mediation.
Well, then the board will make that decision.
I feel quite comfortable with Scott and Tony, with Suzanne's oversight. It worked quite well the last time, and I mean, we should have the engine running and ready to go at all times.
This subcommittee will, I mean, you can think about language where, and I've been thinking about this. They'll serve as a liaison between the full board, which is what Mr. Duffy wants to make sure of, and the councils, or special town council. It will report back, this is the way I was thinking about it, and I had to put it in writing because I had to understand myself, report back to the full board at each scheduled meeting with updates and recommendations, operate solely within the scope of coordinating legal strategy and in this particular case, legal strategy and communication. It can be expanded with independent authority to bind the board. That part you may not like because we have to come back, so right?
Okay, so.
Wait, let me finish, please, Madam Chair. The subcommittee shall remain in place until a full vote of the board is attained to remove or replace individual board subcommittee members as necessary or dissolve the subcommittee in total. Under 7.01 of our rules of procedure, we have a right to do this.
This is a standing subcommittee.
Yes.
Yeah.
They call it a standing subcommittee.
Yes.
The statute does not prohibit it. Our rules of procedure do not prohibit it.
Okay, but I guess what I would recommend is that for parties that are interested, that they work with town council on this idea and on the wording, because it sounds as though one of the references you've made is that you can make binding determinations on behalf of the board.
I'm
And I think-
not prepared as a board member to
that would be
delegate
strict.
that.
And I think the other part should be that there should be an independent vote where people should express who's interested in this subcommittee as well.
However we get there, but the subcommittee needs to be
I
set.
think the subcommittee has been established, proven its worth.
We did this with 375.
Right, but that
We
was...
did this with 85, Brick Hill. This is not the first time we've done this. This is not a new invention
Right,
with
but
this board.
Those were cases that were referred back for mediation, as opposed to the 40Bs that we currently have, that is not the case. It's an open case before the board. It's not.
And when it happens, this committee will be ready to go.
Up and ready to go.
Yeah.
These guys got more real-world experience with this than anybody in this building.
Otherwise, the whole process moves so slowly, I mean, we're going to end up, we could all be dead by the time we get anything done. Let's just get this committee done,
Absolutely.
properly worded, and I agree, I mean, it should be coming back to this board, but,
We don't have to reinvent
and
the
let's
wheel.
do this
It's not
by
that
next week.
difficult.
So how do we get the wording done? I'm not sure how to do that. I
I
suppose.
could
we
meet
can
with town
You had a good
council.
start.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll meet with town council.
Okay,
Would
yeah,
that,
fine.
would that
Go ahead.
work?
Yes.
And I'll get the verbiage, and we'll
Yeah.
do this on next Thursday.
And we'll get it on for next.
Is that okay with everybody?
Agreed. Yep.
And if I need you to help me, I can call you? Is that okay?
You got my number?
All right.
Good.
Is that okay with everybody? I'll meet with town council. Is that okay with you, Noreen?
Sure.
Okay? Is that,
You need my
Would
permission,
you,
that's
would you
fine.
like some of the language that I?
anything anyone wants to give me, and I will take it with me tomorrow, and I'll set up a meeting with her, maybe?
No salty language.
Yeah, no
Are you
salty.
familiar with 40A and that there are no restrictions, section 12?
You can,
I'll give you all that.
that would be great.
Okay.
So we'll table this till next Thursday
For a vote.
for a vote.
Yep.
Okay?
For discussion.
Further
Or
discussion.
discussion.
Further discussion.
Discussion and vote.
And vote.
Okay?
Now, I just want to make sure of something. Is that what's going to be on the agenda for next, that way, for discussion and a vote, similar to this?
Be listed as
Discussion
for
may lead to
discussion and
more
possible
discussion.
vote.
Is that something the board is requiring
It
to be
can,
on the
it
agenda?
can just read exactly what this says on
Okay.
here, pretty much, I think.
All right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, we got to keep moving this
Yeah,
along.
discussion and
I don't
possible
want to
vote.
kick the
That's-
can down the road any further than
Yeah,
So
get
we'll just-
tired of that.
We'll
kicking
just
it.
put the exact same thing on next week.
Yeah.
Okay? Is that all right with everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so board updates. We have Christmas night off.
Good.
That's my only update.
And 4th of July and Halloween this year. Wow.
All right, zoning administrator updates.
I don't have anything new for you.
Woo-hoo. Future agenda. I think I kind of just did that.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think we're good?
I think we're good.
Everybody? Mark?
All right, motion to adjourn, Bruins at 8.
Yeah.
3 minutes late.
I'll second that.
We got December 18th.
Oh, our next meeting is December 18th at 6 PM. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
All those in favor? Aye.